Hey everybody, this is Nick over here at MGW Networks. Today in this video we're going to do a little tutorial about how to set up your email account using Microsoft Outlook, your MGW Networks email account. This is a video for two people. This is a video for people who are setting up their account for the first time, those who are new to MGW Networks, and if you are new, welcome. And this is also a video for those of you who already have existing MGW service and you are looking to upgrade your email to our new security protocols. So in the first part of this video we're going to show you how to set up a new email account, and in the second part we're going to go through and show you how to make changes to it. Both very simple. And like I said, this is for Microsoft Outlook. I am using Microsoft Outlook 2010. If you're using another third-party service, maybe Windows Live Mail, maybe Mozilla Thunderbird, maybe a different email program. Those will be linked down in the description below. But if you are using Microsoft Outlook and you're looking at how to set up your account, well, congratulations, you have found the right video. So let's go ahead and get started here. So like I said, I am using Microsoft Outlook 2010. If you were using 2013, then this should pretty much be pretty simple for you to follow along too. If you're using 2007 or if you're using 2003, you can still follow along. However, getting to your account settings is going to be a little different. Up here there should be a little part where it says Tools, like one of these little tabs here. It should say Tools, and if you click on that, you should be able to scroll down to where it says Account Settings, and then you can follow along from there. But since I don't have an account yet, we're going to go ahead and set one up, and we're going to use my test email account. So I'm going to go here and go to Add Account. And once we get here, we're going to see here. So before I even enter any information right here in these boxes, I'm going to go ahead and click here on the Manually Configure Server Settings and Additional Server Types. Once this bullet point right here is selected, go ahead and click Next. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the internet email connect to a POP or IMAP server to send or receive email messages. Want to make sure that bullet is checked. And then once that is done, we're going to go ahead and click Next. From there, this is where the fun begins. So when you enter your name here, now this is very crucial. If you enter your name, this is what's going to appear when you send somebody an email. So for example, if I wanted the name to be a company, it could be MGW Networks. So that way when I send an email from my email account, I could say that my name was MGW Networks. But for today, since I have a test account, I'm going to go ahead and put test in here. And then your email address. So this would obviously be the email address that you have with MGW Networks. So mine is test@mgwnet.com. Okay, so that's all we need right now for the user information. For the server information, we have POP3 selected here. Now, POP is still supported. However, we do recommend IMAP. So I'm going to go ahead and click the little down arrow right there and then select IMAP. And then once that's selected, I'm going to move down to the incoming mail server. And I'm going to type in imap.mgwnet.com. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and tab down to the outgoing mail server. You can tab or click right here, either way. As long as you get the blinking cursor in there, you should be just fine. And I'm going to go ahead and type in smtp.mgwnet.com. And once that's in there, verify that your settings, these settings right here are very, very important. If you have these typed in wrong, or you do not have anything spelled correctly, your email account will not work. You will get errors. So one of the first things I would do is just make sure that this is imap.mgwnet.com and this one says smtp.mgwnet.com. And as long as those settings match right there, then you're good for the server information. Now the login information. Username. This would be your full email address. So for example, see how it says test here? Well, my email address is test@mgwnet. If I just leave this alone and type in my password, it will not work. Your username needs to be your full email address. So I need to add an @mgwnet.com at the end of that. And go ahead and type in your password. I'll type in mine real quick now. I like to leave the remember password box checked. Reason being is because every time I go to check my emails, I don't have to enter my password. That can kind of get a little annoying to me at sometimes. Some people don't like to do that for security purposes, but just so you know, as long as you have a good antivirus program, that shouldn't be an issue for you. However, if you are curious or you're wondering if your antivirus is up to date or if it is obsolete at this point, for those of you who don't know, MGW Networks does offer two types of antivirus service. And if you're interested in calling in and talking about those different options, you feel free to do so at 877-579-9572. We can go ahead and talk to you about some options, or make sure that the one you already have is good to go. So now that we've got everything set up, and if you're setting up an account for the first time, you can go ahead and pause the video and just go ahead and make sure that your settings are pretty much just like mine, with the exception of your name, email address, and this login information down here. Like I said, the very crucial part here is make sure the server information is correct. And if everything is set to go right there, then we can move on to the next step here, which we're going to go to more settings down here in the bottom right. Once we get there, this little box pops up, and we're going to click on Outgoing Server. Okay. Now, when we get to this point, we want to make sure that this box, My Outgoing Server SMTP, requires authentication. We want to check this box. By default, if you're setting up a new account, it will be unchecked, so you want to make sure you check that. And then it should automatically go ahead and give you this bullet point that you use same settings as my incoming mail server. If for whatever reason it gives you this box or this little bullet point right here, just simply click on the one above it and you'll be good to go. So as long as your screen matches mine real quick, we can go ahead and move on to the next section here, which is going to be connection. And once we get to connection, just verify that it says connect using my local area network, or LAN as it's used for short. If that bullet point is checked, then you are good to go. And just as we said for these servers, if any of these other bullet points are checked or punched in there, just make sure it says connect using my local area network. And if your screen matches mine, then we can go ahead and move on to the advanced tab. Now here's where we need to pay a little bit of attention. These port numbers, these server port numbers, are very important, because if you use the wrong numbers, your email will not work. You will probably get an error message. So let's see here. Incoming server IMAP 143. That number is by default, and that number is correct. So what we can go ahead and do is, if you follow down here, it says use the following type of encryption connection. Right now it's selected as none. We need to change that and select TLS. Okay, and before we go ahead and type in, because the number 25 is not correct, we need to change that number, but before we do that, we want to go ahead and also select TLS for the outgoing server too. Now how I did that, like I said, if you follow along with my mouse, I just clicked here. You can click the down arrow, or you can actually click right actually on the letters right there. Make sure it says TLS, make sure this says TLS too, and if those two things match, then we can go back here to the outgoing server. Go ahead and click in there, and you can go ahead and backspace, or you can highlight. But now once that's emptied and we have that blinking cursor, we can go ahead and type in the correct number, which is 587. And then once that's punched in there, and we can verify that the incoming server is still 143 using the TLS, that's Tango Lima Sierra encryption service, and we can also verify that the outgoing server SMTP is port 587 using the same TLS. As long as that's good to go, we can go ahead and press OK. And we're done setting it up. So now all I got to do here is press next. And once I do that, you may get this right here. Oh, I got a little email scanner here. That's right, because it can't, because it's encrypted, which is good. Internet security warning. If you get this pop-up, that's okay. Just press yes. It's going to go ahead and put it in progress. Yes. Alright, so it's going to check the settings that we put in there, make sure everything's good to go. Great. It says congratulations, all tests completed successfully. Please click close to continue. So if you've gotten to this point and you have these two check marks, congratulations, everything should be good to go. When I click close, it should bring up the few emails that I have in this inbox. If for whatever reason you're getting X's over here, there's probably something wrong. I would go back in the video and verify that all the settings you have are correct. If they are and you're still having problems, go ahead and give us a call to the technical support. The phone number for that again is 877-579-9572, and one of our technicians and agents there will be happy to help you with your problem. So we'll go ahead and click close here, and then click finish. And then let's see, yeah, everything's coming in. Looks like we got our test messages here too. So it looks like everything is good to go. So if you were using an old email address and you're looking to update your settings, this is where you need to pay attention. For those of you who are just looking to set one up, well, then you don't have to pay any more attention. You can go ahead and close this video. But like I said, for those who are actually looking to set up an email or change the settings for the new security protocols, go ahead and follow along with me now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to File, and then we're going to go to Account Settings, and then account settings right here. And then from here, we're going to click and highlight. Just make sure we click and it turns blue for our email account. So we should see our email account right there. And then we're going to click change. And then from there, you're going to see that very familiar box that we just saw a few moments ago, if you were following along from the beginning of the video. And then we're going to go to more settings. Like I said, it looks very familiar. So we go to the outgoing server here. Verify that this box is now checked. It may not have been checked before. If it was, just make sure it says use the same settings as my incoming server. Go to the connection here, connect using my local area network, advanced, and then make sure you type in all this information here. Remember the server is 143 TLS, and then make sure it's 587.TLS. Now, just so you know, if you type in 587 right here, and then you go ahead and click, so let's say it was on none, or if I change this at any point in time, guess what happens? This goes back to 25. So if I typed in 587 for the outgoing server, and then I go over here and change it to TLS, look what happened. It went back to 25. That's why in the earlier part of the video we went ahead and changed it to TLS. We didn't run into this problem, but if you do run into it, it's not a big deal. As long as this little box here is TLS, we can go ahead and highlight this right here and select 587, and then we are good to go. So we can just press OK, and once that's done, you're done with all your new settings. Just press next, and it's going to go ahead and tell you again. It's going to test these settings to make sure that you entered them correctly, and once that's done, you can just press close, and then you can press finish, and you should be on your way and good to go with the new settings. If you have any problems or any questions, feel free to call into the call center. Again, the number is 877-579-9572.